Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to another day of getting, lean. It's a Saturday, about 1 p.m. Woke up around 9 a.m. this morning, been getting work done, cleaned my room. I've actually been working on a Lego set, a bunch of standard stuff, nothing too exciting. So as far as the calories and the meals for the day, like I mentioned yesterday, I'm going back to high carb, low fat, not tracking. So just after yesterday of doing, low fat, high carb, decent amount of protein, I already feel way better today, way more light on my feet, more energy, all that good stuff. So it definitely works. And the first meal I had today was some honey. I actually had a decent amount of honey in a glass of warm water. So warm to hot, warmish water helps speed up your metabolism in the morning, or at least it feels like it does. I don't know if there's scientific evidence behind that, but I put a decent amount of honey in the warm water and then drank that. Felt amazing. Energy was great. And then for lunch, I don't really have a bunch of fruit right now because I haven't hit the grocery store in a week, but I did have some dates. So I had probably 15 or 20 dates with some more honey. So that was the next lunch meal for the day. Energy levels still feel great, and don't know what I'm about to do. I might go walk around at a mall. I'm definitely going to hit the gym later today. I just don't know what time yet. And I'm going to hit chest, rear delts, triceps, and maybe a little bit of legs. We'll see. So that'll be the second workout of the week today, which realistically, to maintain muscle, I really just need about 2 workouts per week. In a perfect world, 3, but 2 is just plenty to maintain. So that's the plan, and I'll show you guys the rest of the full day of eating later today. All right, this is post-workout. About to hit the sauna, but thought I'd do a quick physique check. Definitely not as sharp as I was a week ago, but that's all right. Gonna get back on track, but still looking pretty jacked. So I'm happy with that, and I think I'm in a good spot. Hi everyone, good evening. About to have the second meal, I think, something like that, of the day, and it is going to be 93.7 ground beef, about 90 grams of protein here. Earlier, I'm trying to think of all the stuff I had today. First meal was honey, then some dates, and then I had some maple syrup throughout the day. And I had a can of Greek yogurt, 0-fat Greek yogurt, and I had a protein shake. So all in all, I hit, with this 90 grams right here, I hit about 120 grams of protein and pretty low fat for the day. Really low. So I think the only fat I'm really getting is a tiny bit in the protein shake I had, and then 30 grams or so in the ground beef here. So keeping the fat low, and like I said, getting back to the low fat, high carb diet. So gonna eat this ground beef. I also had a Luigi's Italian Ice, which is kind of like it's exactly like it sounds. It's like a 0-fat, sugary ice type of deal. So I had one earlier. I'm about to have another with this ground beef, and that'll be most of the food for the day. I don't know if I'll eat anything else for the rest of the day or not. We'll see, but it's about all I got for now. Hi everyone, back again, and I'm going to close out this video by addressing and answering a question I got recently. So the question was, let me see if I can word this correctly. The question was, how often do I get hungry while I'm fasting, or even after eating meals, and then how do I deal with that hunger? So I think that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. And so I'm going to probably give a pretty long-winded, complicated answer because it's not just one simplistic response, but there's different ways that I go about this, different thoughts and philosophies I have in my head. It's just different ways of thinking about it. So to address the question overall, how often do I get hungry? Not often. Not often. I try to eat in a way and structure my day in a way where I really almost never get like super hungry. I might have a little bit of hunger here and there, like, oh, I could eat, but I'm never really like starving or like, oh man, I just really need to eat. Like that almost never happens, at least for me. And there's a lot of things that I do to achieve that, and I'll go through some of them. But yeah, for me personally, I'm never really like really starving or suffering because of hunger or anything like that. Almost never. If I every once in a while, if I don't eat for a while and I'm working or something, I don't have time to eat, then I might get super hungry and I'll be like, man, I want to eat. But I think a key point is I'm never suffering through hunger. I'm never like doing any of that, just because I feel like that's unnecessary and it's not sustainable in my personal opinion. It takes a lot of, if you're hungry and you're trying to suffer through it and push through it and force your way through it, that's a lot of willpower, and eventually you're gonna give up and just say screw it. So you really want to kind of create a diet and a lifestyle that you're not super starving and suffering through it, because like I said, if you do have that, it's going to be very difficult to maintain willpower wise, and you might be able to do it for a while, but eventually you're not going to be able to, because you're going against evolution and biology. So things that you can do, or that I do to mitigate hunger, is I'm not going in a super aggressive deficit first and foremost. If you notice, this series is almost 150 days. I've maybe lost 10 pounds during this whole series. That's pretty slow. Realistically, if I was 100% in a 500 calorie deficit, which is really not even that much, that's about standard, I would have 150 days, I could have easily lost, let's see, 20 pounds, like twice the amount, easily, if I was 100% strict on top of everything. But the problem with that is, at least for me, I mean, this is not my first time like getting lean and dieting and all this stuff. I've gotten down to 6% before. I've been extremely strict before. And the problem I always had is I would always be really, really strict, push through the hunger pains, all that stuff, get ripped, and then just say screw it and give up, and then go right back to where I was like 6 months later. So this time with this series, like I said, the progress is really slow. And if you've noticed throughout the series, sometimes I regress and I go back a little bit. And so to get back to my point, I'm not in a huge deficit, and I'm not pushing it super hard, because I don't want to feel hungry all the time and starving and like I'm in a huge deficit, because at least for me, I know that I'll end up rebounding if I push it too hard. So that's one tip for dealing with hunger, is don't go too aggressive on the deficit. Other things that I do is I have caffeine every day, about 200 milligrams of caffeine. If your goal is intermittent fasting and you want to skip breakfast and push your first meal later in the day, black coffee is the best thing for this. I mean, hands down the best thing. Caffeinated black coffee. You have, 1 glass, 2 glasses of black coffee about an hour or two after you wake up. You can easily fast 4 or 5 hours into the day with no hunger at all. And then on top of that, you can drink a decent amount of water. You can drink sparkling water, but the black coffee is a secret. Not really secret, but it's very, very helpful to mitigate hunger and fast. Other things you can do to mitigate hunger is, I guess, if you finish your meal and you're still hungry after the meal, finish your meal and then drink a bunch of water, and then wait 20 minutes, and then usually the hunger will go away. If you're still really hungry after you finish a meal, eat more. There's no problem with eating more and going up a little bit. Maybe you've been in a deficit too long, and your body's saying, I need more food. That's totally fine. Don't be super, unless you're a professional bodybuilder about to get on stage. You don't want to be too strict, at least in my opinion. Other ways I deal with hunger. Try eating more filling foods that are that have more volume. So a great one is apples. You eat an apple, just 2 apples, and you just feel really full after, even though it's 150 200 calories. So things that are vegetables, fruits, bananas, apples, things that have a lot of volume but are not super high calories are great. I think apples are probably one of my favorites. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I mean, just learn like what foods fill you up, what doesn't. Like for me, if I eat like a chicken breast or 2 chicken breasts or something, that's not going to fill me up. I'm going to still be hungry after. But if I eat, a steak, the same amount of calories, I'm way more satisfied with that. So it's really just learning and experimenting with different stuff and trying to, learn what keeps you satisfied, what mitigates hunger and all that good stuff. But I would say the more healthy food that you eat, the more you're going to mitigate the hunger, at least for me. The more non-processed stuff. So instead of eating, a protein bar, have 3 apples. That's going to fill you up a lot more than a protein bar, just because of the volume, even though it's lower protein. I guess that might be not a great example because it's different macros, but you get the point. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good summary of ways that I deal with hunger. But a lot of those ways that of dealing with hunger more so applied to my earlier strategies earlier in the videos, because back then I was doing more the intermittent fasting, calorie tracking type of thing. And if my goal is 1,800 and I hit 1,800 and I didn't have any more calories for the day, I would just deal with the hunger. But with this new approach I'm taking, where it's super high carb, high natural sugar, low fat, I'm not counting anything. So if I get hungry, I'm going to eat. Now, I'm not going to stuff my face or anything, but, at the end of the day, I would say just feeling it out, learning what foods you like that fill you up, and using things like black coffee, caffeine. Those are the best ways to deal with the hunger, in my personal opinion. Especially more so during the fasting period. But yeah, to sum it up, don't really get super starving or anything like that unless I forget to eat and I'm busy with work or something. So that definitely makes getting ripped, getting lean easier. So hopefully that answered the question. If there's any more questions, feel free to answer it, and I'll try to address those in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.